This is Access Tech Live.
Welcome back to Access Tech Live. I am Stephen Scott. Mark Aflalo with me today. And, Mark, just to prove to you this is a live show, I just had a text from a friend of mine who's just said, I can't believe you just referred to Alaska as a country. Yes, I do apologize. I realize it's a state. I misspoke slightly. Yes, you are absolutely right, person who shall remain nameless for now. Anyway, audio description, described video, what do we call it? Because, it's interesting. On my travels, Mark, I saw a lot of TV shows. Yes, I did watch a bit of TV in the hotel, where it was saying, this program is brought to you with described video. And then, over here in the UK, we call it audio description. So, audio description, described video, let's call the whole thing off. The most important thing is, it is a service that helps people like me watch television. It's essentially a secondary audio layer, which, gives me information of what's happening on screen when action is going on around that perhaps I wouldn't see. There's a voice actually giving me that information. Lots of people have experienced audio description by accident. In fact, if you Google audio description or described video, you'll often see people saying, how do I turn this off? There's people telling me what's going on screen and I don't want to know what's happening.
Yeah, well, Stephen, meanwhile, Netflix just posted a clip about a week ago or so from Bridgerton, and it actually highlighted audio description on that actual show. Now, here's the funny thing, is people who've never heard it or watched it actually say that the show takes on a whole new meaning and direction when they watched it with audio description. Let's take a listen and a watch of this clip here.
He leans in close, bringing his face to hers. They share a scorching kiss. He wraps his arm around her waist. They separate for a brief moment, then share several deep, slow kisses. She runs her hands up to his face and down his chest. They pause, regarding each other in wonder. She brushes her fingers over the curves of his ear and rakes her hand through his hair. His open mouth curves upward in an ardent smile. He presses his lips to hers, flattening her against the back of her seat. His hand slides up her skirt, coming to rest at her hip. She grips his lapel as they kiss fervently.
Wow, it's getting a little bit warm in here. I don't know about you. That's probably the only clip of Bridgerton we could play, from my understanding of this program. But it does show you the power of audio description, and almost it kind of takes the experience for a lot of people who don't use audio description every day, almost to that novel level. Almost like it's kind of like you're listening to a book alongside, and it's incredible how it's done.
I find it kind of interesting because in most cases, when they're producing these shows, they're not producing it with audio description in mind. So, what goes into the writing and the creation of the audio description, it's more than just describing it. You got to fit it in where it kind of fits in the dialogue and everything that goes on. Now, you actually caught up with Liz Gutman, who's one of the head writers at the International Design Center. Now, they're a company that does audio description for companies like Netflix and other broadcasters as well, which is incidentally where you could find Bridgerton, right? Now, here's Liz talking about the different ways that she approaches the writing to make sure that the audience is connected to the story.
The way you describe nudity in, for example, I don't know, a horror movie is going to be different than the way you describe nudity in a drama, is going to be different than the way you describe nudity in Bridgerton, which is meant to be steamy. Again, we're trying to bring the audio description experience as close to watching it as possible. So it's making sure that the describer, that you as a describer, as a description writer, let that feeling sort of wash over you, and then reach into your sort of bag of tricks to bring out whatever language and phrasing and tone will best suit that. And then moving forward in the process, in the booth, when the narrator is recording, to make sure that the director can adjust that a little bit too. Like, oh, could you, maybe it's bring it down a little bit, or bring it up a little bit, or, it's a multi-step process that I always find really fun, even if it can be kind of embarrassing in the moment, to really get into that sort of romance novel, steamy description.
Yeah, I mean, it is incredible the work that people like Liz Gutman do to make the writing good and make it fit in with the show. And it's something I have to say that is a little bit unique about the International Digital Centre and the work they do. They really do pour their heart into making this the best script. Not only that, the best mix as well. It's something that I think they do really, really well, and it makes the experience of enjoying a show more than just a voice in your ear telling you what's going on. It actually works almost like a voice guiding you through the show, giving you that extra information as if it was meant to be there in the first place. And I think that is the trick that they bring to it. But it's absolutely fantastic. My wife loves the show, so yeah, she's very pleased. Less so.
Can you imagine what it's like to actually have to read that script also, like to watch it against the show? I can't imagine that's an easy thing to do. But I mean, that's why you use actors. You know, it's not just people who read a script on the screen. It's you need people who can convey the emotion and get that across. Now, Stephen, while you were gone, we couldn't help but, joke about the fact that you maybe picked a pretty bad time to go in the tech world. I mean, you talk about the different things that happened. And I know, listen, we joke about it. I know it was a great vacation and it was a good time. So I figured instead of razzing on you like I've been doing this entire time, I came up with a fun way to kind of fill you in on the things you might have missed while you were on vacation. Let's roll that intro.
Okay.
Top 5 things Stephen missed while on vacation.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do, Stephen. Okay. In absolutely no specific order of preference here, we're going to start with the top 5 things with number 5.
Number 5.
Okay. So let's start with Google. Google had their I/O Developers Conference. They announced a whole new AI-powered search plus new features soon to come, such as Google Ask with Video, which can see the world in real time, help along the way. There was Google Meet AI, which acts as like a note-taker and assistant in different meetings. And of course, they also announced their next generation AI model, which we have no idea when it's going to come out, but we'll see that soon. How about number 4? This is where we insert the intro. Number 4.
Oh, good. Well, so far.
Number 4.
I'm too fast. That's a problem, Stephen, here. So, number 4, OpenAI. They actually hit the stage, Stephen, the day before Google. Timely, maybe? They announced ChatGPT 4o. O stands for Omni. It's a new multimodal large language model. And if you want to know what multimodal is, that's voice, video, and text. And it'll be able to see things and react to things in real time. Really, really cool stuff coming out of OpenAI. Quite honestly, it excites me a little bit more than some of the other things that we're going to find out. But again, as we talked about at the top of this week's show, WWDC is coming up in like 9 days or something like that. You ready for number 3?
Go for it.
Okay, let's roll it.
Number 3.
Now, I'm sure you managed to catch up with this one while you were away, because I know that you were paying attention to some things. Be My Eyes showed off how they're going to actually use that new AI model from OpenAI with a very cool, amazing real-time audio description feature that's interactive and lets people navigate the world with complete independence. It was, I mean, the demo they showed was a gentleman actually in London hailing a cab, and it was able to see that the light was on the cab, so it was available to him. It was able to tell him when he should flag it down. And the funny thing is, right at the end of that video, I don't know if you saw this one yet, it actually, it says, "Oh, good job, you got the cab, and nice of your guide dog to lead the way." At no point in time did, and he tell ChatGPT that he was walking with a guide dog. It was so cool. And it was funny because at the Vision Health Conference I was at last week, which we're going to talk about a little bit later with our guest, someone demonstrated this, and they talked about this specific feature. And it was amazing to me how people in the crowd had no clue. It was amazing. The oohs and ahs of the crowd when they heard it in action was pretty insane. I'm sure you knew about this one, right?
And I did. I'd heard about it. I didn't actually see it till I came back, but I was very interested in this for obvious reasons. Just personally, I'm like, yes, please, I want this. But we did actually have Mike Buckley on Double Tap with us this week, and he was telling me, because I asked the question, look, is this something that's real? Is this actually, is this happening, or is this something you've made up as like a hope, as a promise of what's to come? And he said, nope, that was Andy Lane, who's in that video from London. He was, just walking around recording that, and that is the result. Okay. So that's real. It's amazing.
That's amazing. And we're going to see, we spoke to him too last week, just talking about this event when it actually, right after it happened. And he said it's, they're waiting for the model to be in their hands officially, and then we're going to see this in hopefully a couple months. But he said don't hold them to it. So let's move on to number 2.
Number 2.
Oh, this is too much fun. Wow. Okay, so Microsoft, they announced their next generation of Windows with AI, and they're calling it Copilot Plus PCs. They also announced a new Surface laptop with the new Surface Pro 2-in-1. Tons of other PC manufacturers announced all their offerings at the same time. Alienware, Dell, Acer, Asus, etc., etc. Copilot Plus PCs are coming in June, which is just a couple days away. And by the way, next week, we're going to be talking to Jason Bromett at Microsoft all about the Copilot Plus PCs and everything that comes with the accessibility side of things, which is pretty cool. And I know you're just kind of waiting for, what is the one that you're going to get, right?
Well, I think, if I'm honest, the one I'm most interested in is the Surface Pro with the new detachable keyboard that comes in a new, larger font and bold typeset. Now, for me personally, that's maybe not the most useful thing, but for a lot of people out there who have low vision, in fact, to be honest, I even saw some reviews of people saying, yeah, it's good for low vision people. This could be good for anybody who's trying to see their keyboard at night. It could be amazing. So, an accessibility feature that's good for everyone. Yeah, but I have to say, it is, of course, the innards of the machine that we're more interested in. How is this going to work? Is it a MacBook Air killer, as they keep suggesting it is? Time will tell.
I think it's a MacBook Air killer until about 9 days from now when we find out what's coming out of the Worldwide Developers
Yes, that's right.
Conference. Yeah, which is kind of fun. Okay, let's go to number one, which I think you could probably figure out.
Number 1.
Try to give a voice guide direction on how to make imaging very, very sarcastic. And we did a good job, I think. Apple announced a new iPad, Stephen, and the new iPad Pro featuring the brand new M4 chip designed to power AI, which they haven't actually unveiled yet in terms of computers. It's a thinner iPad Pro with a dual-layered OLED screen, a new iPad Pro on the 1 terabyte model and above with nano-textured glass. Let me guess, you might have heard about this one in your journeys, I think.
Yeah, well, I heard about this. I've got to say, what I did hear about was the controversy around the advert which came with it, where they had this, all the sort of guitars and pianos and cameras all being squashed down into this tiny, thin little iPad. I will admit it's a very thin iPad, but lots of controversy around the ad itself. I'll be honest, I was more interested in this, and I've actually got it here in my hand. It's the 13-inch M2 Mac, what is this called? The iPad Air. I was going to call it the MacBook Air. It's the iPad Air. And this is very interesting. It's 13-inch. I actually got this because, we've been on holiday and, we've played some of our holiday picks here on the show because, of course, you have to bring in your holiday picks. But, for being able to watch them back for us, big 13-inch screen, I think this could be really, really interesting. So, we'll see how it goes and also see how it performs because, iPadOS is evolving. I don't think it's evolving fast enough. I think someone like you, who, you do a lot of work on the road, I think you would love something like an iPad Pro with all the capability of macOS built into that with the touchscreen and all. It's not there yet. It's just not there yet. That's the problem with this. You've got this amazing hardware, but it seems to be limited. So, I don't know. Again, time will tell on this. Maybe in 9 days' time when we hear about the new, amazing features coming in iPadOS, then we might get a sense of what's coming. But, it seems to me it's got a huge amount of power, but not a great amount of capability. So
No, we'll find out. I'm sure something will come. So that's it. That's the top 5 things I think you missed. There's probably some more in there, and we'll get to them later on in the show and stuff like that. But my pleasure. It's a good summary. You can watch it back time and time again if you want to head on over to our YouTube channel or check on AMI Plus. It'll be there. Coming up, it's National Accessibility Week in Canada as we celebrate 5 years since the introduction of the Accessible Canada Act. So where do we stand in the mission to realize a barrier-free Canada by 2040? Philip Rizkallah is the CEO of Accessibility Standards Canada, and he's joining us next here on Access Tech Live.
Live to come. Get involved and have your say at Access Tech Live on social media. We'll be right back.